Franklin here. Welcome to the Facebook Live. Today I'm at Carriageworks in Sydney and I've just been checking out a conference here and I've seen the morning session heading back up to Brisbane now. But look, today's Facebook Live we are going to be looking at a couple of questions. The first is, why is social media so important for trust-based service businesses? And there's secondly a reader question from Selina, who's one of my old colleagues, and last week in the comments she asked, how should businesses ask for referrals, for example, once they've completed a good job? So I'm going to get to that second. First one I'm going to talk about is why trust is important why social media is important for trust-based service businesses. Okay, so trust is particularly important because nearly always it is the number one factor when people make a purchase decision, particularly in an industry where they're providing a service, particularly professional services. If you're going with a stockbroker or a financial advisor or an accountant or a mortgage broker, then trust is such a huge part of it. So, with trust being the number one thing that people make decisions based on, doesn't it make sense to try and increase trust with what we actually do with our marketing? Well, of course it does. Anything we can do to increase trust is super valuable. Now, most of these types of professions, they'll take clients out for lunch or prospects out for lunch and keep in touch on the phone, and that is awesome, but there's only so many lunches you can have in one day. There's only so many meetings you can have. So the point I want to make is that you can amplify this trust, you can reach more than one person at once when you use social media and when you use these tools to have a digital representation of yourself that is online, that people can check out, that you can be proactively reaching out to people. And it's so valuable because what you're doing is you're allowing people to actually get to know, like, and trust you even when you're not in a one-on-one meeting or lunch or phone call with somebody. So that is why it's powerful. It's a digital representation of yourself where you can actually demonstrate the stuff that you talk about. If you're a real estate agent and you say that you're hardworking and that you're available 24/7 or whatever, then rather than just say that, because surely lots of people say that, but you can actually demonstrate it by doing Instagram stories or Snapchats if you want to, but those types of things where you can actually put the timestamp on and you can demonstrate to people that you are actually working hard for a client on a Sunday, or that you're up early to do a meeting with somebody. So those types of things can actually be demonstrated using social media. Now, I'll say Instagram stories as an example here, and let me just dive into that a bit more, because there's a huge opportunity with building relationships, particularly in professional services and trust-based industries, forming one-on-one relationships with your prospective customers. Okay, so like we would in real life, we would show an interest in the people that we want to do business with. And with social media, it's going to be just as effective, because rather than what most people do, which is just try and push content out, there's a really, and it's very uncomfortable for some people too, but a very good way to approach it is actually following the people that you want to do work with, following your clients, following your prospects, keeping an eye on what they're up to, showing an interest, doing your research, and you might be able to build a relationship because you've noticed something in their life, because you follow them on Insta, or you like them every now and again, and you get on their radar and you stay on their radar, and then they're more like a friend or a very interested colleague, as opposed to just being a stockbroker looking for the next commission, or a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. You actually become part of their world. So reaching out to people and following them on social media is great. That's, I'm saying you as the marketer, you as the professional services person, you follow your prospects and you follow your clients, because they're most likely going to follow you back, which isn't the name of the game, it's just to show an interest in them, but chances are they will follow you back, and then you've got the opportunity for them to see your content. So again, if they follow you back and then they're seeing your stories or your Snapchats or your Facebooks, whatever, then they get to, hopefully, know, like and trust you, because you're humanizing yourself and you're putting content or you're putting ideas onto the internet that they otherwise wouldn't see. You might be having conversations in meetings where you're sharing your expertise or your insights, and only the people in the meeting get to see that. But if you were to post that via a story or an Instagram video or a Facebook Live, then more people can see it, more people can get to know, like and trust you, and with any luck, the right people will become your clients. Okay then, the other good thing, just on that note, if you do have Instagram stories, yes, they vanish after 24 hours, but what I would encourage you to consider is to download your own. So you can download them as a video. You could then put them just on your website to say, look, I work hard, or I am available here and I go the extra mile for my clients. Here's some examples of me actually doing that. Here's me signing off a contract on a Sunday night. Here's me helping a client at a meeting on a Monday morning. Whatever it is, whatever promises that you make as a business owner or a professional services trust-based professional, then you can actually demonstrate that with social media as opposed to just saying it. Okay, now time for the reader question, which was from Selina. And Selina asked, how should businesses ask for referrals? Okay, so there is a couple of points I want to make here. The first is that obviously you could just ask them at the end of a job well done, and that's what I would encourage you to do as a starting point. Now that is something that most people actually overlook and don't bother doing, but it's a great source of referrals and leads when people actually do that properly. But the other thing I want to suggest anyway is to give your clients, I guess, the tools to post on Facebook themselves. All right, so when there's a stat that I show in a lot of my presentations that says that only 14% of people trust adverts, yet 90% of people trust a recommendation from a friend. So for me, it was really the thing that sealed the deal, was realizing that if I spoke about Blue Wire, kind of like this, I guess, only 14% of people would believe it because it's me talking about my own business essentially. However, if one of you shares it with a friend or tags a friend or whatever, and because it's being referred from a friend to somebody else and it's not coming directly from me or from Blue Wire, it's 6 times more trustworthy. So if I can get other people talking about what we do, then that's super, super powerful. So, for example, one of the guys I catch up with in Brizzy, Givo, shout out to Givo here, is a real estate agent. And when he actually got a client to post a photograph, he wasn't even in the photo, of them in front of the for sale sign once they just bought a property, and they tagged him in it as the agent that facilitated the deal. It got, 6 times more likes than when he posts that similar type of content to his own page. Now it makes sense because firstly, someone else talking about you is going to be 6 times more trustworthy than you talking yourself up, but also it provides that social proof, and it's much more, people are much more interested in a post if it's somebody buying their first home. It's a lot more of an emotional involvement than, say, a real estate agent making another sale. So the agent's mates aren't going to be as interested in him making another sale, but the person who's bought the home is going to be super, super excited, and all their friends are. It's going to get a lot of eyeballs, it's going to get a lot of attention, and if you happen to get tagged in there as the person that did the deal or sold the house or whatever, then that's really powerful. So again, if you're in a trust-based service, professional services industry, these types of things can work well. So Selina, to answer your question, just ask them direct, but ideally give them the tools. Offer to take a photograph of them, offer to WhatsApp it to them so they've got the picture, they've got whatever else, and they are more likely to want to put it online. Or you can just ask them, hey, would you mind putting something online? But chances are they're going to want to if you've done a good job and if they want to tell their friends. All right, folks, so I haven't seen any more questions come up. Sometimes it doesn't always show on my screen. Like last week, I didn't see Selina's question until later. I hope it's been a bit more steady for you today. Last time, a few people pulled me up for it feeling a bit seasick once I'd finished walking around because I just was holding it in my hand. But look, this time it should be a bit more sturdy. So anyway, if you've got a friend in marketing who would find this interesting, please share it with them or share it to your profile or tag them. And that would be much appreciated. There'll be more on this. Submit your questions in the comments or email me or whatever else, tweet me, Instagram me, and I'm going to answer more questions on a Facebook Live sometime next week. All right, folks, we'll see you soon.